Hi, welcome to AFTV. I've got James B with me. We've just beaten PSV 4-0 at the Emirates. What a way to announce yourself back into the Champions League after so long, James.
Yeah, I think that early goal allows us to enjoy the occasion. Don't get me wrong, I think if you go 0-0 going to 55, 60 minutes, a bit like the Everton game, you start thinking, they have the lack of fluidity problems that, before the international break, they're re-emerging. You start asking all these questions when it was such a big occasion coming back into the Champions League. And I want to just sort of touch on something that kind of Turkish and I were talking about on the watch along, and it's a kind of view that Turkish has talked about that I thoroughly agree with, is we should absolutely enjoy being back, but we also need to very quickly treat it like the norm. And I love the way the players did today. They didn't look overly emotional, overly awed by the occasion, overly excited. They went out there incredibly professional, like I think they were against Everton. I don't think this performance was miles better than Everton, but that's because I thought Everton was a very, very good performance. Okay. But what it was a home performance rather than a away performance where you're looking for that little bit more spark in front of goal. And in the final third we had that. It was also a weird game in that, we're going to break it down on a tactical insight sort of video because we've been doing them after Premier League games. We're going to do it after the Champions League. And what you got from Arsenal was actually after the 15 minutes of pure domination, they were then happy to kind of go through lulls without the ball and spells, but they always maintained concentration, defended well, had a good shape, and when the openings did come, very clinical, very decisive, and the front four. But everyone played their part today, and they've kicked things off brilliantly because PSV. Listen, I expected to win. Yeah. This I didn't think walk in the park. They made it a walk in the park.
Is that the difference? What you mentioned there is the fact, I know you wanted the second half to be Arsenal come out firing, put in more goals, maybe 5, 6, but it was still professional. We didn't concede. We got an extra goal. Is that feel like the difference to what you would have seen last season?
I don't know. I think last season things were a little bit more of a basketball match in terms of like end to end, and it just felt like, and there were times where PSV did feel like they'd found space and opened us up, and let's be honest, maybe another team with a little bit more quality and fluidity in the attacking third caused us a bit more problems on that front, but everyone to a man did their defensive job brilliantly. Rice always dropped back, Havertz, Odegaard worked hard to support as well when they could. Saliba and Gabriel were immense, and in games where you win 4-0, you score a lot of goals and everyone's focusing on that, let's not forget that David Raya, Saliba and Gabriel were all brilliant in terms of giving us a platform to play, but also Ramsdale.
Yikes. You forgot to drop that right out straight away.
Just said my ex's name.
Oh, you're in trouble.
David Raya claimed crosses, did his job, and his distribution was immense. Kieran Ali, what are you laughing at? But I think between them as well as just sort of doing his job and doing whatever was asked of him, his distribution was amazing. And Saliba and Gabriel, I just thought were very composed at the back and did their defending brilliantly. So we just kept things nice and professional.
Yeah. So I just have a vision of Mikel Arteta being in the dressing room like, Rams. Right. Anyway, let me ask you this question. God gets out. Right. Just you as a fan going forward, I loved when you said about, we should see this as the norm. Do you expect that going forward? Because I mentioned to Turkish, it's not an easy group. I do want to mention that because I know me and you kind of say everyone's going to Europa-ish. We should be able to win it comfortably. But do you see that? Does it feel like Arsenal will be very comfortable going through this after what you've seen today?
Well, the Sevilla-Lens game ended 1-1, right? This is a very confidence-boosting night. I think I generally have the handbrake on when we're talking predictions and expectations because Arsenal have scarred me over many years. So my feeling is we should qualify top, and we should make a great drama out of it. However, I also was saying relax because these places, Sevilla away, PSV away, are the kind of awkward ones that you think, well, you're not going to rotate because they're sort of a bit too good for you to rotate completely. But also you should be going away and winning these games. So I've been sort of just talking about, look, we should go through, but let's just not get ahead of ourselves. But you start with a 4-0 win, and we really were by far the better side, totally deserving of the 4-0. What was it, 10 shots in the first 15 minutes, you were saying. That just shows that we were really on them. We started the game right with the right attitude, mentality, and efficiency in front of goal and all that. But then Sevilla have dropped points at home to Lens, and that's a good thing. Sevilla are the people I think we've been seeing as the closest chhallenges to that first place spot, and they've dropped points at home to the team that I know the least about, so I think are the worst in the group, but of course we're going to learn a lot about them too. So I think this has been a real confidence-boosting night for Arsenal, if they weren't confident anyway.
Lastly, what was your pick of the 4 goals, James? Who's your favourite?
The Trossard one, brilliant. Not Saka's. I mean, it was good, he did well, but Odegaard's from distance. But Jesus gets it because I love the move, and then I love the ball from Trossard. Is it Gabriel who plays it in behind to Trossard? That's really good. And Trossard on his left foot's just happy to just pick out a player like that. I think he was saying in the press recently that he's always practiced with both feet, and that shows. He got a couple of assists against Fulham, or definitely an assist against Fulham, with his left foot, just dinking it to the back post. He loves that bit of skill. And Jesus with the touch, and we say, a touch is exquisite when the ball keeps rolling on the spot because you've hit it forward, but it was going the other way, and it just rolls, and he just strikes it, and it's a lovely, lovely finish. And Jesus had a night to remember. They were talking about man of the match on Watch Along, and I couldn't really pick one. I think probably Odegaard for his overall contribution to everything, but it could have been 5-6 players, and as Gunnar Lee said quite rightly last season, we were saying that after every game. 5-6 players could have got it, same today. Arsenal, they're going through the gears. Good to see.